everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you follow me on Instagram, then you know that I sleep trained Nikash at 6 months old, and some of you have been asking for updates and tips on how I did it, so I'm gonna share those with you right now. Okay, so first off, Nikash is sleeping, for the most part, 11 to 12 hours a night. We put him down around 7 o'clock at night, and he sleeps until about 6 or 7 a.m., which has been amazing. I think sleep training has been one of the best things that we've done. I was really opposed to it at first. Now that I look back on it, I'm really happy that we sleep trained him because, you know, no matter what, even when there are nights when he is having a little bit of a hard time, he still really does sleep so well overall. And you know, it's given us a chance to catch up on a little bit of sleep. I wouldn't say we've really caught up, but it definitely gives us a chance to function like real human beings because, you know, your child needs some sleep. I'm gonna share my tips first and then I'll tell you exactly what it is that I did. All right, so tip number one is be mentally prepared. I was co-sleeping with Nikash. He was sleeping in our bed with us, and it was beautiful and perfect. I loved having him next to me. And then sometime around 4 months, he started becoming just more aware of everything, and he started wanting to play while we were in bed and not really sleep. Like if he woke up, he wanted to, you know, play a little bit. Or there were nights where I was still breastfeeding at the time, so there were nights where he just wanted to wake up every like 30 minutes and feed, and sometimes even use my boobs as a pacifier, which started to turn into a big mess as well. I think most of all, it was affecting my husband's sleep, and he had a long commute every morning, and he was just feeling so broken down and tired, and I understood it was hard for us to function every single day. So I kind of fought it. Like I wasn't ready at 4 months, even though that's when my husband started being ready for it. And then like 5 months hit, and then finally around that time I started to realize this is it. I can't function anymore. I'm not gonna make it during the day if we don't sleep train him. So I definitely had to get in that right mental space to be able to do this. Tip number two, dedicate a week to the process. So we hired a sleep trainer, and her name is Natalie and she was really, really great. One of the things that she recommended was to dedicate at least 48 to 72 hours to this whole process, but she told us the longer you can dedicate to the process, the better. And what she meant by that was you can't go anywhere, you can't break the schedule, you can't put him even in a stroller for a walk, you can't put him in a car seat, nothing like that. Don't go on a trip. Stay inside for at least 48 hours, if not longer. And she recommended 48 to 72 hours. We stayed inside for 72 hours. We committed an entire like Friday to the end of Sunday to the whole process, and then we just didn't even really take him out of the house. We kind of took turns making sure that he stayed indoors the entire rest of the week, and we didn't go anywhere at all. You know, I know that's a luxury, but you can at least commit a weekend, and it's really, really worth it because what you're trying to do is make sure that you get into this schedule with his naps during the day and then at night going to bed consistently and putting him in his crib. And that is the key because you don't want to take him for a ride somewhere, even if it's just to go get ice cream or, you know, like a coffee. You don't want to put him into the car seat because the car could make him fall asleep, which kind of backfires because you're trying to teach him how to just put himself to sleep. So don't take him anywhere, don't put him in a car seat, don't put him in a stroller. Try to commit a week. If not, at least commit a long weekend to the process because it will really, really help you. Tip three is consistency is key. I used to be one of those people before I had a child who was such an asshole. I was such a jerk when I think back on my friends who had babies before me because they would say things to me like, oh no, we can't meet you for brunch at this time because that's when our baby is taking his nap, or we can't meet you for lunch because, you know, that will throw him off of, you know, his feeding schedule or something like that. All these things used to not make any sense to me at all. But now that I have a child who is sleep trained and on a consistent nap schedule, it makes so much sense to me because once you put them on this schedule, the more consistent you are with that schedule, with all of the times that you do everything, the better your life will be, I promise you. You know, once they know what to expect during the day and at night, then they just follow it so much easier. Tip number four, darken the room. I have a few friends who don't believe in this. They want their child to like get used to, you know, sleeping with the lights on, or well, with like the sunlight coming in during the day and stuff like that, so that they can, you know, try to get them to sleep if they're out or, you know, going for a walk or at lunch or something like that. But I tried that. It didn't work for me. I was trying to be that cool mom who still keeps my social life. I've given up. and I've decided that what is better is to darken the room. Make it feel super, super dark. The darker, the better. We got blackout shades for our baby's room, and it's not really necessary at night because obviously it gets dark at night, but in the morning, obviously, when the sun comes in, then that's always helpful to have the shades darkened, because then the sun won't come in and wake him up earlier than he should wake up. The baby is gonna sleep better because it's a dark room instead of being super bright on your baby. So darken the room, do everything that you can to get the room as dark as possible. Tip number 5 is to do the last feed 30 minutes before your baby goes to sleep and in a very well-lit, bright area. That way you can kind of really separate what is bedtime and what is feeding time. I used to let my baby go to sleep with a feed, so he would actually kind of get used to that. Like, he'd be in my arms and either be breastfeeding or I'd be feeding him with a bottle, and he would fall asleep like that at night. So he got used to like really needing to do that. So one of the things that we had to train him to do was to first eat, and we would do it 30 minutes before. We would let him finish his bottle. It'd still be bright in here, the TV would be on, people would be around, we'd be having conversations around him, and he would know that while he's eating, he's not supposed to sleep. And then we would move into my next tip. Tip number 6, have a nightly routine. And so that's what we would do. So we would feed him 30 minutes before, then go upstairs and do his nightly routine. So whenever a baby knows what to expect, it's always just super helpful because it's part of the consistency in the routine. So having the nighttime routine can be something as simple as just, changing his diaper, cleaning off like maybe his face and his hands, and then putting on his pajamas, and then that's it. But you can also make it more elaborate. Some people I know give them a bath before they go to bed, and some people will read a book to their baby before they go to bed. Whatever you want your nighttime routine to be, you want it to be consistent and have something just very regular that the kid recognizes as, this is something that we do right before I go to sleep. Tip number 7, make your husband also put your baby to bed. I will say, to add to this though, my husband was really good about the sleep training in the very, very beginning. It was first off his idea, but he was really good about being part of the sleep training. But as we got it going and we got into a cycle, then it started to kind of come down more on me to put him to sleep. So I definitely made sure that my husband got into the habit of putting him to sleep. That way we could switch off if we needed to. Tip number 8, get a white noise machine. You guys, it's really easy. White noise machine has been so helpful. One, because it's one of those things that it's another part of the routine. When the white noise machine goes on, your baby knows it's time to go to sleep, but also it drowns out all the noise around you. So you can still go on, to watch, you can go and watch your TV shows at night when you want to. Your baby's going to bed around 7 p.m. and I'm assuming you're not going to sleep at that time. So you finally get that hour or 2 or 3, whatever your bedtime is, so that you can spend some of your own quality time with yourself. And sometimes you just want to Netflix and chill, right? You get to do that with a white noise machine. Tip 9, end the daytime naps at 4:30 p.m., no later than that. You don't want your baby to sleep till 5 or 6, even if he's really tired, because then it's gonna be hard to put your baby to sleep for a 7 or 8 p.m. bedtime. So I think that one just kind of speaks for itself. Tip 10, this one's gonna be a little bit controversial, but while you're sleep training, if you're doing cry it out, try not to check on your baby. Only check on your baby if you absolutely have to. And I say this because in the plan that our sleep consultant gave us, she said we could check on our baby every 20 minutes or so. But what I found was it actually made it more of a struggle. Every single time I would go in there, he would freak out even more when I would leave. And so then it would start the whole process over again, and it would drag it out. It was so much easier to just not go check on him and let the process go a little bit faster than to keep going in there and checking on him. All right, so those were my top 10 tips. Now I'm gonna tell you exactly what it was that our sleep trainer did. First off, if you guys wanna hire a sleep consultant, a sleep trainer, ours was amazing. I'll put some information down below in the link. She doesn't come to your house or anything like that. She speaks with you over Skype. You kind of explain your situation, because everyone's situation is unique. And then she just gives you a plan. And then the best part about it is, for the week that you're sleep training your child, she is available by email and by phone the entire time, so that if you come up with a question while you're in the middle of the sleep training, she will be there to answer any of your questions. So you can send her a text message like, wait, he stood up in his crib suddenly and he doesn't know how to sit back down. What do I do? She's gonna be there to just kind of, you know, more than anything, be your cheerleader, because that's kind of what you need. You almost need somebody to like talk you out of quitting. And you know, I guess I would actually make that one more tip is don't quit. Once you decide to sleep train your child, you have to commit to it, because it's only worse if you get it started and then stop and then try it again, because you're just gonna teach your child that crying will get you to go in there, or you're just gonna like go through this torture of, you know, making your child cry, but then you give up on it and then you just went through that whole process for nothing. The way it worked was on a Friday night, we decided this was gonna be the night that we were gonna sleep train him. 30 minutes before we were gonna put him to sleep, we gave him his last bottle. He finished that bottle, I took him upstairs, did our little nighttime routine, turned on our white noise machine, closed all of the blinds, made it completely dark, closed the door, so he knew this is time. And then, you know, instead of doing something that you would normally do, like rock your baby or like pat your baby on his back or anything like that, she said, we can't do that stuff. She said, she kind of gave us a scale of 1 to 10, and she said 1 being wide awake and 10 being passed out asleep. So she said, you want to hold your baby really still for up to 5 minutes and make your baby get to a level 5 on that scale. You want your baby to be tired, but not so tired that he's falling asleep. You want him to just be like tired. Like when he starts to rub his eyes, she was like, put him down in his crib. So that's what we would do. Turn on the white noise machine, close the blinds, close the door, make it dark, hold him still. And then when it felt like he was tired in that 5 minutes, or if he wasn't tired after that 5 minutes, you would still put him down. 5 minutes was the max. We would lay him down. We would say, I love you. It's time to go to sleep. We walk out the door and let him go. And obviously we had our monitor as well. You have to monitor your baby throughout this whole process because, you know, you need to see what's happening and everything and make sure that the baby is okay. And it was torture. That first night was absolute torture. I watched him and it took about 45 minutes for him to fall asleep. He definitely cried, but it wasn't like a terrible cry. He was just more like, what the heck is going on? Why did you do this to me? Kind of crying. So our sleep consultant said we could check on him every 10 to 20 minutes if he cried consistently through that 10 to 20 minutes. Not if he stopped. If he stopped, that means that he was maybe like calming himself down. And that's what you want at the end of the day, is for your baby to calm down on his own. We waited a full 20 minutes the first time, and then I went in and checked on him, and then he freaked out when I left. She said you could only be in there for 20 to 30 seconds when you go in there, and all you do is go in, touch the baby, you can't pick the baby up, and just say, I love you, I'm here, but it's time to sleep. And then you walk out. That was all that she said you could do. He was so mad, he freaked out. So I started to think about it after that, and I was watching him and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna go in there anymore, because that made him so much worse. And I just really felt like it was gonna drag out the process. So we just watched and waited, and it was terrible. I had to watch a movie and drink a glass of wine. I recommend it. But then he fell asleep. And then I thought, okay, well that wasn't that bad, he fell asleep. But then around midnight, he woke up again. And that was actually the one that was really, really bad for me, because then we were in bed also. So you wake up and you hear your baby crying and you can't go in there and do anything. And it kind of freaks you out. And that time he went for an entire hour crying, and it was really sad to me. Again, he wasn't freaking out, but he was definitely, you know, upset about why we weren't coming. But it was an hour, that was it. And then he fell back asleep. And then the next phase of it was anytime between the hours of 4:30 a.m. to 6 a.m. We definitely could not check on him. So all those other times, if he cried consistently from 10 to 20 minutes, you could check on the baby if you wanted to, but anytime between 4:30 a.m. to 6 a.m., you absolutely could not go in there, because your baby has to work that one out by himself, she said. So he did wake up, but miraculously, and this is when I started to see how it worked, he put himself back to sleep probably within like 5 to 10 minutes. He just kind of woke up, he was like, what's going on? And then he went back to sleep. And then the second night, it all just started to get smoother. So we did kind of like the same thing during the day, but again, the naps, I'm telling you, are a whole different beast. So the second night, put him down, took about 20, 30 minutes, fell asleep. And then he slept through the night. And then the third night, put him down, fell asleep like within 10 minutes, didn't cry about it, he wasn't upset. It was beautiful. I was pretty amazed by the whole situation. And then he just started sleeping through the night. Like, it turned into one of those things where it was pretty amazing. A couple of little things. I would not recommend this for a baby who's younger than 4 months old. That was something that my pediatrician said to me. I think it has a little bit to do with either the baby's age or with the size of the baby. So I would always, always, always check with your pediatrician before you do anything like this, like sleep training, because, you know, I'm not an expert. This is just my experience. So always check with your pediatrician about any of this stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, give this video a big thumbs up. Find me on Instagram. That's where I answer a lot of questions whenever people DM me questions about my baby or anything else. I'm pretty responsive. I at least try to read all of the questions that I get. And I will see you soon. Bye.